shook the house to the frame. It literally was that solid of a hit.
Randy Bonomi was sitting at home watching the news when he thought something hit his home in Southington Monday morning.
I went out in the garage to check to see what could have possibly happened.
After he didn't find anything, Randy ran to check his attic. He says it.
Just bewilderment. Couldn't quite figure out what exactly it could have been.
And Randy wasn't alone. Teresa Messner, who lives nearby, was out walking her dog around 10:30 when she heard what's being described as a loud explosion.
He stopped, I stopped, it was unbelievable.
When she got back to her house,
the neighbor came outside, the kids were outside looking, and it was strange.
We're following a developing story right now that has people in several counties in our viewing area wondering, what was that sound? Dozens of you have let us know about a loud boom or explosion between 6:30 and 8:30 tonight. We've received reports about it from Mount Vernon, Nixa, Ozark, Aurora, and Reed Spring. But so far, authorities say they've been unable to determine the source of the blast.
From the shore to Mount Laurel and plenty of places in between heard that booming sound. Eyewitness News reporter Cleve Bryan went in search of answers and joins us live from North Wildwood with the latest. Cleve.
Well, around 10:15, 10:20 this morning, people throughout South Jersey said they felt something, but it was very intense right here in North Wildwood. And today I found out why.
In between the cheers, all the chatter at this cross-country meet in North Wildwood Wednesday was about a behemoth boom.
So I heard this great big boom.
Everyone had a theory about the mysterious sound that made homes and offices shake.
I thought something fell on top of the roof.
Somebody hit the back of the building.
Yeah.
Like somebody crashed.
Thought that a crane or something like that had just dropped something onto the beach.
Now for a breaking news update, a mysterious boom felt across the county. We got calls and messages from people who said they felt a huge shaking around mid-afternoon. There were no reports of earthquakes that would have caused that. We contacted the military, Naval Base Coronado, MCAS Miramar, and Camp Pendleton. They got back to us. None was conducting exercises that would explain it.
Call it the case of the mystery booms. Folks in the Verde Valley want to know what shook their community last night. So CBS 5's Heather Moore hit the road to investigate.
I've never heard anything quite like this.
A tremendous boom, like a controlled explosion.
It sounded like two very large explosions.
Hundreds of people from all ends of the Verde Valley have now reported hearing the same thing. Around 5 o'clock Tuesday evening, something crazy loud stole their attention.
It scared me. I actually felt it, and my house
shook.
Latest
developments on a story we've been following since it broke last night. Residents living on both sides of Narragansett Bay reported hearing what sounded like an explosion. Officials searched for a source all day but came up empty. From the East Bay Mobile Newsroom, Eyewitness News reporter Sean Daly is live in Barrington.
Susan, a frightening mystery has people talking tonight here in Barrington and all the way across the bay in Warwick. A loud mystery. Whatever it was, it got people's attention around 11:30 last night, both here in Barrington.
A giant flash of light, and about a second later, a large boom. What I thought was an explosion of some sort.
How loud?
How loud? It was loud enough to make my whole house shake.
And in Warwick, was it scary?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, oh my God, it must have been a gas explosion and somebody's house blew up. That's what it sounded like.
But what I do know is that whatever this was, hundreds of people saw it. There were big lights, big booms, and it all happened around 7:30 tonight. People really from all over the state, even in other states, have been calling our newsroom, writing on our Facebook page, all the way from Las Vegas to the Mexican border, everywhere in Arizona, from Flagstaff to Oro Valley, even to
Heard throughout the Wyoming Valley today. There were reports that people's houses shook and folks as far away as Mountaintop reported hearing the rumble this afternoon. Newswatch 16's Clay Lepard talked to some folks to see what they thought about the Big Bang. Clay.
Sophia, it all happened around 3:30 today. A loud boom echoed across parts of Luzerne County. For some, their houses shook. And even 8 hours after it all happened, we're still unsure what exactly caused it all.
Boom.
A sound unlike any that Mary Kay Bearden has ever heard before.
You know, it puzzled us.
And she wasn't alone. Hundreds of people took to Facebook and sounded off on the unexplained boom.
There were people down in Greenville who were talking about it and saying, asking, did you hear that boom? Did you hear that?
Mary Kay says the closest explanation she could come to was the sound of 2 train cars smashing together. But after living next to train tracks for over 30 years, she knew that wasn't the answer, which led her and others to different theories.
Employees here at Christian Brothers Automotive tell me sometime after 11, the walls and paintings started shaking inside the shop after they heard the loud boom. Ray Adcock says he immediately ran outside and says he saw other people running out of their buildings checking to see what happened. USGS reported a 3.0 magnitude earthquake did hit near Cushing sometime after 11. However, residents are saying the loud boom didn't feel like an earthquake. Adcock says it was definitely nothing he had heard or felt before.
For weeks, a loud boom has rattled quiet neighborhoods at night or early in the morning.
It was so loud it made you come outside to see if something blew up.
The wreckers say they heard it last month.
Probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it sounded like a bomb went off underneath our house, rattled the whole house.
Like the house shaking for maybe a second, real quick, and you kind of heard a big boom.
We went outside in the backyard. We were looking at the sky to see if there was any fires. We were listening for sirens going off to see if there was an accident or an explosion. And for the most part, we were just kind of scratching our heads wondering.
Jonathan, Janet, we have been, like you mentioned, tracking down everybody that we can think of. What we do know is that there was not an earthquake, that there have been no reports of anything crashing or exploding like a pipeline or an airplane or anything like that that would cause such a widespread area to have heard and felt this. So what we're looking at now is whether or not something maybe burned up in the atmosphere. Well, we've called NASA in Huntsville, and their preliminary reports, at least, were that they hadn't seen anything coming across the sky. So
we are following breaking news downriver, where residents in several cities reported hearing what sounded like an explosion. It was heard from Lincoln Park all the way to Grosse Ile. 7 Action News reporter Gino Vici live in Lincoln Park with more on the cause of the startling sound that caused speculation on social media. Gino.
Lots of it, Brienne. The odd thing is that, so far we've learned what it was not, but we have not discovered what it actually was just yet. The City of Wyandotte Police Department just releasing that the boom heard around the world, they said, was not originated in the city of Wyandotte. And let me show you a map of where people have reported hearing this sound. Now, most of the reports of the noise have been reported close to where we are right now, Southfield and Jefferson, but there are reports of hearing an explosion-like sound all the way to Grosse Ile. But as you can see on the map and on social media, as well as with people we spoke with in person, the boom may have come from the area you see in the green circle, which is again right near Southfield Road in Jefferson and Ecorse. For Robert Duke, we spoke to him earlier, he thought the building next door had exploded.
It was very loud. I was just got out of the shower and I was sitting on my bed. All of a sudden I heard a boom, boom. It shook the whole building. And then my roommate, he came on, he goes, what the heck was that? I go, I don't know. So we looked outside. Maybe it could have been a car accident or something, but nothing.
Again, Wyandotte PD saying the sound of the boom did not come from its city. However, in Ecorse, the police department there is saying they heard and felt that explosion inside of their police department. But again, they do not know the cause of the loud sounding boom, and neither does a lot of other people, but they'd like to find out, and we're certainly